Hello, hello. Welcome to Wellness Astrology. I am your astro coach, Sarah, here for this moon in Scorpio. This moon in Scorpio is going to feel like a fucking eternity because it moves into Scorpio on the 13th and it's there till the end of the day on the 15th. That is going to feel like a very long moon in Scorpio. Okay. Okay. All right. And it's also going to be one hell of a full moon hangover. I also feel like with this moon in Scorpio coming off that full moon in Libra, closing out that eclipse cycle, but also because we're in this Venus direct Saturn North Node situation in Pisces, um, this could be one hell of a release. So like it's a release after the release. So decisions could be made, emotions could get spicy, emotions could get erratic, and all of the things. Remember, we do not have Neptune in Pisces. We have Neptune in Aries. There is no softness anymore. Saturn is in Pisces, and Saturn's like the daddy of the zodiac. So we're getting our asses whooped here a little bit, but it's all for our greater good. Remember that that we're kind of being called forth to make some big decisions to move forward in a whole new direction, paradigm. Like there's a lot of shifting happening, okay? And we're not done. That was just like the first one. um, with the Neptune ingress into Aries, because we still have Saturn to ingress into Aries. And here shortly, I would say once we get into May for sure, but we're getting very close to the Neptune Saturn conjunction dance that's going to happen for months here between the end of Pisces, the beginning of Aries. And so if you thought that we were done with this after like this whole stellium breaks up on the 25th, we are not. We're not. um, we're not done. We're not done with that situation because even though Neptune and Saturn will both ingress into Aries this year, they're both also going to retrograde back into Pisces. So we are not done. So this Scorpio moon could feel harsh. It does come with, and I'll show you the chart here in just a second, but it does come with a harmonious kite between the moon in Scorpio, Mars, the stellium in Pisces, and Uranus. But it that because Uranus is involved, Mars is in his detriment, or is he in fall? I can never keep those straight, but whatever. He's not in his happy place is the point. The moon's at fall. Mercury is still in his detriment. The only real happy planet right now is Venus, and she's not really like the boss bitch of the chart just yet. Because you have so many other things to kind of like almost like counter that. So anyway, my point in saying all of that is to make it not sound doom and gloom, but to say your way out is the disruption of Uranus in Taurus. And so you have to make some decisions. I kind of talked about that with the Libra full moon, but now we've got the emotions involved. And so you've got to feel some feels, grief, some grief, even if it's like a relationship, a job, whatever it is that ends, or that you got the rose-colored goggles ripped off and you saw something that you've never seen before. Now you've got to go through the decompression or the grief process and release the emotions around it. That's why I say it's like a release after the release. So you're going to be in that full moon hangover and it could last for like 3 days while this moon's in Scorpio. Uh, I'm not making this sound very pleasant, and it very well likely could be not so pleasant for a lot of people. Just know that there is a lot of things that you're processing right now that are so subconscious to you or so innate or ingrained in you that them surfacing, it breaks a or ends a cycle for you that you've been living, maybe not even just this lifetime. So think about it. I'm 40 something years old, and my family's been talking to me because I'm about to go get my prosthetic replaced. And so my family's been talking to me about going and getting one of those bionic eyes, right? And I'm like, no. And they're like, why? You'd be able to see, you'd be able to drive, you'd be able to do all of the things. And I'm like, I don't know if my brain can handle being able to see out of both eyes. I've never experienced that. And I'm in my 40s. I'm like, my brain would like not know what to do with all of that information. So like we almost with Neptune in Pisces, we almost glamorized certain things that we thought would be really cool. AI, for example, right? So for some people, it sounds really cool. If they could get a cure for their disability, they would take it. But I kind of have never wanted that. I've really never, I've always just thought like God made me this way and I wanted to learn how to accept that part of myself versus want to change that part of myself. Now, if some twist of fate happens and I'm able to, invest in something like that, I don't know, I might do it, but I doubt it. It just does not seem like something that I would want to do because I don't know how my brain would accept having the like more vision. So what I'm saying here is like it sounded good on paper, but is it the right thing, right? And you might be seeing things from a different perspective than you were before. And now you've got to take action because now you see things a whole different way. Okay. But then you have to grieve the thing that you might be letting go of, right? You thought it was a good job. It's not a good job. You thought it was going to be a fun place to live. It's a sucky place to live, right? You thought it was going to be a great marriage, great relationship, but it's shitty. It's sucky and it's sucking the life out of you. I do want to show you the chart for Tuesday, the kite situation, so I can kind of like let you see it. So hang on one second. Alrighty. So here we go. This is Tuesday, midday. And we have, um, as we've talked about before, we have the Mars trining the Pisces stellium. We have the moon trine Mars and trine the Pisces stellium. And then we have the sextile from Mars to Uranus and Uranus to the Pisces stellium. And then we have Uranus opposite the moon. So that's where the kite comes in. When we have a kite like this, the release is Uranus. Again, you've got to shake things up. Now, again, we're in this for a stretch of time, particularly if we take out the moon part of this kite, you're in this Mars trine, Saturn, this Pisces stellium sextile Uranus for, another 10 days or so. But now we've got the moon in there, so you've got to feel something. The moon's gonna, first of all, before it even gets there early in the day on Sunday, it's gonna square off with Pluto, so that's gonna dig up some stuff. And then by the time it gets here on Tuesday, like I said, this moon's gonna feel like it's in Scorpio for fucking ever. Um, um, but this is, your release is to mix it up, to shake it up. Um, your release is to make a decision. And you've got to feel it. You've got to feel it in your body what that decision is. It's not going to be about what's logical. It's not going to be about what makes sense. It's going to be about what you feel in your body. And I have said this many times, maybe not necessarily. Have I said it here? I don't know. I know I said it in a blog post at some point. Most people don't know how to feel things in their body. So most people don't know what their sacral chakra tells them because they are so into the logic and the how it makes sense and the outside influence of social media, their friends, their family, whatever. So, you know, most people don't know how to feel it in their physical body. What exactly would make them happy? And, I, without even knowing that I was making decisions in my life that my body felt was the right thing to do, I'm still getting criticized to this day. And we're talking 15, 20 years later for decisions that I have made in my life. So unfortunately, you're going to make decisions based on your body and how your body feels about it that are going to make people dislike you for the rest of your life. That is unfortunate and it's reality. And it's sad because you don't get to have relationships with those people anymore because of the choices that you make that were the right choice for you. And so there's a grieving process that comes along with that when you know that you, and that's what I'm talking about with the grief with this moon in Scorpio, is you may have already made the decision on that full moon in Libra with Venus stationing direct. You may have already made the decision. And now all of a sudden your people are like questioning you, what the fuck are you doing? Are you insane? And the answer is yes. Yes, you are insane in the best way possible because you followed your gut. You followed your sacral. You followed what felt like the right thing to do for you. And this is the beauty of the North Node in Pisces is that logic matters none because the South Node's in Virgo. So things when you're trying to make a decision based on logic, it's probably going to backfire. Um, it's probably going to dissolve. But if you make a decision based on how your body feels, you're probably going to notice, like I have noticed in 15 years, the miracles that have happened. I've actually been talking about that recently about like the miracles I've experienced because I chose to trust my body and what my body wanted. Like I got a job out of nowhere in the summer of 2019, and I got to spend 6 weeks in the mountains in California. Like it was a miracle. It was the funnest job I think I've ever had. It was also one of the hardest jobs because it was like long days, long nights, but I loved it. It was the best 6 weeks of my life. I will never forget that experience of being up in the mountains in Napa. But I say that to say, like, you'll notice more spectacular life experiences and miracles the more you lean into how your body feels and not what your logical brain does or thinks. So feel into that with this kite, with this moon in Scorpio, Scorpio being the like, what turns you on. It's, passionate. Pisces is passionate, you know, Uranus and Taurus, not exactly his happy place. Mars isn't really happy, but that means we got to lean into that Venus being exalted in Pisces. And like I said, she's not like the boss bitch of the chart right now because Neptune's not there. So there is that Saturn to kind of counter it a little bit, but at the same time, there is something like um accountability, responsibility, and not being the victim to your limitations or past life experiences or, whatever. Maybe this is even like self-forgiveness, like forgiving yourself for fucking it up and allowing yourself to be open to the next possible opportunity. If you've had bad relationships before and you really want another relationship, but you don't want it to go the same, like forgiving yourself for not being attentive to the red flags. So there's a lot to feel through with this moon in Scorpio. I'm pretty sure there's no mistake that after that full moon in Libra, that this moon in Scorpio is going to be here for like what's going to feel like 3 days. Um, but yeah, so lot to feel through with this moon in Scorpio, especially on Tuesday. Like I feel like some people are going to have some experiences on Tuesday. Um, so let's see what the tarot has to say about it. Tarot for the moon in Scorpio. Let's see what's going on. I remember as of this video being posted through the 15th, we are just a few days away from Mars being out of Cancer. Hallelujah. Finally. Mars gets into Leo, it's going to be a little bit more action oriented. So, I mean, if you're feeling that right now, y'all bet if you're feeling uncomfortable and unsteady right now, y'all better buckle the fuck up because once Mars gets moving, And he'll be in Leo for a while. I think until early June, he'll be in Leo. Um, so we get quite a stretch of Mars in a fire sign, which is a good thing. He'll finally be out of shadow in early May, which means that things will really start to spice up, which is, again, a good thing, in my opinion. Like, let's get this party started, right? Ready to make some life decisions, make some choices, and have some things start moving forward. You've had enough time to contemplate. All right. Ooh, okay. We got Judgment in reverse. Q. This could be like there is no being objective. There is no being imbalanced or making the right decision. You're just going to make the decision. Um, I mean, I feel like with this North Node in Pisces until what, July of next year? And with all the planets in movement and all of the energy that's kind of going to go back and forth, like we're on a pendulum of things that are going to go back and forth and back and forth. I've said this before. You could make a decision right now and go with it. Just fucking go with it. Use that Uranus and Taurus and just fucking go with it. And 6 months from now, you're gonna be like, okay, maybe that wasn't. But this is like the year to fuck around and find out. Make a crazy, illogical, make a crazy okay, but it feels good to do this decision. And the fun part is that it really could go a different way a year from now. And it's all good because you trusted your gut and you went with it. Every time I've made a decision, I've been like, is this the right decision? Is this gonna go okay? I really thought I was gonna be living in a tent in California. It never happened. I always had a roof over my head. Even when I injured myself, I fell and hurt my foot really bad. And like my friends took me in for the weekend because they're like, you can't stay where you're living. I had stairs to climb. So they're like, you can't do that all weekend. Come stay with us. So everywhere I have been, I've always had a roof over my head. I've always had food. I've always had, I've never been in like a nasty situation or anything like that. It's always been okay. And that's making decisions based on my gut saying, pack your shit and move to California. Pack your shit and move to Arizona. You know, like everything's worked out okay. Even the last couple of years of living in my hometown, it has not been the most pleasant, but I have learned a lot and I've grown a lot and I've been able to get a lot accomplished as far as my writing goes, and things like that, that I would not have been able to do if I would have been living in a city because I would have been too busy running around, going to parks and things like that and having too much fun. Uh, the devil in reverse. Wait, yeah, the devil in reverse. Eesh. I mean, this is a good thing. This is like being devil's advocate, seeing the good in something that you would normally see looks bad. And I think this goes back to that Libra full moon too, is like seeing the other side of a situation because we get so lasered in on our perspective and our opinions that we forget to see that there's that other person or those other people's perspective on a situation. And I think this devil in reverse is kind of a wake up call. Like, you got to be open to seeing someone else's side of the story before you can place judgment. I think maybe people are going to realize that they've misjudged a person or people, and that maybe they need to open their eyes up to seeing the good or the advantage of why those people or that person made the choice that they made. So that could be a good thing. That could be a good thing. Let's see what's up with the um, heroes and ancestors and angels or whatever this deck is called that I can never freaking remember. Ah. We got the mountains. Oh yeah. Stand your ground. Yeah. I don't know if I like the message like stand your ground. Like if you make an illogical decision, yes, stand your ground. I have for 15 years. And it has cost me a lot of relationships with people who have were close to me most of my life until that point. But I've stood my ground on it and have never regretted it in the entire time. I've never, ever regretted it. Um, and every decision that I have made, I've never regretted doing it, even if I had a not so favorable experience. And I feel like this is something that a lot of people need to embrace is like, you're going to make a choice. You got to stand for it. You got to stand for yourself and your choice to do what you do and be okay with it. And you don't have to explain it, justify it, or defend it to anyone, just yourself. And I think the more people waste their time attempting to explain themselves to other people is time that you're not investing on exploring things that bring you pleasure, that bring you joy, that bring you fun, that bring you excitement, that bring you, a non-sexual orgasmic experience, that kind of thing. So, and maybe it does bring you an orgasmic experience. I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, there's so many experiences that I would never have had if I would have not made the choices that I've made, even though those choices have really upset people to the point where they are still angry at me for making that choice. I don't have any regrets. I've lived my life. I don't give a fuck what people think. And if they wanted to know my side of it, if they wanted to know my side of it, the devil in reverse, judgment in reverse, they could ask me, but they choose not to. They choose to be in their own shitty shit of a dissatisfied life. That's not my problem. And it's not your problem either. So stand your ground, make the choice that you need to make for you and stick with it and be okay with the fact that people are going to disagree with you. And it's okay. So, anyway, happy moon in Scorpio. This could be a tough one, but I think that it has some good if you like do the grief work, do the emotional work that might come with it. I think that the other side of it, especially once we get into the moon in Sag and we get into Taurus season, when you move through these types of low situations where the moon's in Scorpio and everything looks like bleh, when you choose to take on the work of emotionally processing these types of times, it makes the Taurus season with Mars finally moving out of Cancer, it's going to make it that much more um, indulging and tasteful than if you continue to sit in your shit because people don't like your choices. Do you see what I'm saying? So move through the energy, move through the grief, move through the emotions of this moon in Scorpio. All right, I'll talk to you guys on the next video. Take care.